Hello, hello, you beautiful soul. So, I had a message coming through today for the divine feminine within each and every person that sees this. And this is regardless of gender, right? Because everybody here has both masculine and feminine energies. So, just to be clear, this has nothing to do with your gender, right? And how you present yourself. This is about energy, and this is directed to the divine feminine within each and every person that sees this. So, wow, Mama was coming through on this one, and she was like, um, some of y'all might have gone through a glow up, right? Or this is for the ones who have always been like lusted after, I guess you could say. Like, there are many of us within the collective that have been lusted after from the jump. I'm talking childhood, you know. But there are some who go through their awakening, right? One, two, three. Go through their awakening, go through like their shedding. They shed all of this yucky stuff off of them, and they emerge as this just beautiful soul, right? And ignite that flame, right? That sovereign source flame within oneself. And so sometimes whenever this happens, we attract new energies, right? New people, new eyes, new curiosities, right? those those people that are just like, what's going on? Right. So Mama really wanted to remind everybody, whether this is something that you have always experienced or this is something that you're new to, like you you are to understand and remember that it is an incredible honor and responsibility to awaken desire, longing, and like that ancient holy remembrance of soul, right? Because a lot of times we ignite this flame within other people, and they naturally, because your body responds, right? They're just like, ooh, you're really activating me, right? I'm really feeling like a human right now, wanting to do some human things. And so like you it's important to understand what a responsibility it is to activate others, right? And it's not something to be um taken lightly or to be used to control, manipulate, and all of these things, right? So we're not talking about seduction and performance to achieve what it is that, you're trying to achieve in any given moment, right? This is about being seen and felt um fully, right? In your truth, right? This is you standing in your truth, and it is very activating, right? You're not here to perform for anybody, and you're not here to seduce. You just are. And in that being, it ignites the flames within others, right? You ignite that soul spark that is just like a little ember, I guess, like that's how spirit's showing it to me right now. Like, people are walking around with these little embers in their heart space, right? These little embers that really want to just be fanned so that it can be sparked and that flame be ignited, right? And it's a huge responsibility to ignite those flames. And, you know, it is not it's not your responsibility on how others, what others do with their flames, right? And with their desires. It's not your responsibility to nor your obligation to fulfill any desires that are projected onto you, right? Because when you activate this flame and this spark within others, they're going to, you know, all of the wounds, all of the projections are going to kind of come up and out in your direction, right? And because you're the mirror. And you're just standing there and you're like, I see you projecting all of these fantasies and, desires onto me, but that is not in any way my responsibility to fulfill, you know. My responsibility and your responsibility, the viewer watching this, is resonating with this energy. Like, you understand that you attract, that you are magnetic, that your soul and even your appearance draws in a crowd, right? And you are responsible for how you conduct oneself while on this stage. So, your responsibility is to stay centered in your knowing and in your sovereignty, and to stay grounded, right? Like, yes, sometimes some people that are new, and I hate to use this analogy, but I've actually used it a couple times to people's faces, because I have no problem calling what is what is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, you're kind of like new to the cool kid party. Like, some people come in and they're like, just don't know how to respect themselves or conduct themselves when they have eyes on them. And it's no judgment, but it's like, I'm going to call it out. If you want to sit in this energy, you know what I mean? Like, just ground yourself into your humility, right? And like, deflate your ego a little bit and know that it is a responsibility, and it is a huge responsibility to hold, right? So it's so funny having these conversations with people, but it's necessary, and I don't mind holding that flame. And that's the whole point, right? Is that whoever this message is for, you carry the flame, right? You carry this like living, burning flame, and it ignites other people, and you get to witness this ignition within others. Right? You're like witnessing these little embers get fanned by your being, and just ignite. And so you get to watch that, and it's such a sacred and holy thing to watch someone's soul ignite. It's beautiful, and it's something to be held and honored, right? It is something to be honored. It's not something to play around with, right? Because you're playing around with other people and other people's experiences when you want to play. And what do we do when we play around with fire, right? We're going to burn and we're going to destroy things and cause harm that's completely unnecessary. But there are things that this sacred flame does burn away that are necessary. And this is distortion, right? This is the flame that burns for the truth. This flame burns for the truth. This flame is the truth, right? And so you ignite a desire in people and a longing and remembrance for truth. And that's what it is. And it's that sacred sexual kundalini, divine feminine energy. And it is to be honored. So at the end of the day, your responsibility is always to remain grounded, stay rooted in your sovereignty, and honor that flame, and not ever confuse it with obligation. Right? Because not every flame that we meet is meant to like be physical with, like, sometimes you just are supposed to activate that flame in another. That doesn't mean that because someone desires to touch your flame physically that you need to fulfill that, right? Like, no, you do what feels best to your own inner knowing and guidance system and your own sovereign flame. And Yes. So when you ignite other people, right? Let them. We hear that a lot. Let them, right? Let them burn. Let them burn away their distortion, right? Let them burn away their illusions. Let them burn away their, you know, whatever needs to be burned away. Their flame will do the burning for them. Your job is to witness it, right? You get to witness people get ignited, and then you hold this sacred containment within yourself, and you show as an example of what it looks like to be safe, to be sovereign, to be sexy, to be amazing, right? But have respect for all that is, for everything, and that includes yourself, right? And everybody in your, you know, in your field. And so you hold sacred containment within yourself, and by doing that, and but through your witnessing, you get to hold sacred containment for the flames that you ignite, right? And you watch them burn, you watch them do whatever, you know, and you honor them, and and you have faith that they're going to ground into their truth and into their experience, you know, but it's not your responsibility. And so you allow them to find their own way back to their sacred temple, right? And become the keepers of their own sovereign flame. And it's beautiful, and it's amazing, and it's such an incredible, like I said, responsibility and initiation into the true power of housing, being a sacred vessel of the sovereign flame, you know? And yeah, I love you. You're amazing, you're beautiful, you're needed, you're everything that you came here to be. And I hope by now, if for any reason you were in some type of ego space, that you push through to the end of this and were able um to truly hear what is and what isn't, right? And you is important here, and you is activating, right? But you also is respectful. You hear me? Right? We're respectful of oneself, of all that is, and every reflection of ourself that we see here in this cosmic mirror of divinity, right? I love you.